Has expired.
Of people on benefits in New Zealand.
Mr Speaker.
I call Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure to speak on the third reading of this bill tonight. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge our hard-working Minister, Minister Paula Bennett, for the effort and the commitment she's put in with her vision for getting people back to work and her unrelenting focus on getting people back to work. I'd like to acknowledge also the officials who came to our committee and provided great support, who've been here for most of the readings, and were here actually most of the night last night, supporting this bill through the House and listening to the debate of the MPs as we debated our way through the night on this bill. I'd like to acknowledge the submitters who came before our Select Committee and gave their submissions and the time and effort they put into them, because it does take time and effort to put high-quality submissions in, and I acknowledge the work they put in. I'd also like to acknowledge all the members on the committee who sat through a number of submissions and participated well and asked very well thought out questions of our officials. And we sent them back many times for more answers when we weren't quite sure about, we weren't trying to tease out some of the details in the bill. I stand here supporting this bill because I don't apologise for the focus that this bill has on getting people into work. I think it's a really positive step to have a bill which says we want you to go back into work, into the workforce, and have a successful life. And during the debate yesterday, there was a lot of talk around there are no jobs, people are going to end up having no support at all. That's not true, actually. That was a bit of a scare tactic that was in the debate yesterday. If there are no jobs out there, there will always be the state to support those people. And that will always be the case under a national government. We're not going to say there is no support for you if there are no jobs either. So what we're doing is focusing on getting you back to work where the jobs are. And it's really interesting because also I want to touch on one more thing in the debate that came through quite clearly to me last night, was that the Labour members believe that no work is better than low-paid work. And actually, I don't believe that's true. And you said it, and I know Dr Prasad is looking at me like I'm not understanding what I'm saying, but you came across, and you've said it many times, that it's low-paid work is not good work. It's better to be in no work than low-paid work. And I actually don't get that. I actually don't get that, because what message are you sending to all the people out there who are on minimum wages and are working really hard and sustaining themselves and their families and creating an independent unit, independent of the state, and actually getting ahead? And you've got no value on those people in the work they are doing. And I just don't get that. Because I'll tell you what, work is better than no work, regardless. Work is better than no work. So now you're saying that if you've got children, that no work is better than work? I'm sorry, but this government is actually about giving people opportunities to get work and putting a focus on that. Now, I'd like to talk about some of the new obligations under this bill, and I'll just highlight 3 or 4 of them. One of them was the unemployment benefit is limited to 12 months, and after that time a recipient has to reapply for it. That's a really good thing. It's getting those people back into the office, talking about how they're going and where they need to go to get themselves into a state of employment. That's a really positive thing. I want to talk about the reassessment we've got for sickness benefits, which is really good. They'll be assessed at 4, 8 and 13 weeks, plus a mandatory 1-year reassessment. And that's going back to these people and saying, how are you going? Are you feeling it better? Has anything changed? Do you think you can do some part-time work? Because part-time work is a good thing as well. And so it's bringing people back in and saying, how can we help you? How can we take you along this pathway? The other thing we talked about was in this bill is youth training requirements. We're saying that now the ministry can direct our youth into education and training as a first priority. And that's a really, really good thing, because we've got to ensure that we don't have a generation of youth that come out of a recession who haven't worked after 4 or 5 years, And then they're really, really hard to change their habits and to get them employable. So what we're doing is we're saying we want to keep you busy in education and training, and that's going to be our priority for you if you cannot get work. And that's really, really important. There were three things that we put in new supports under this bill. The first one was boosting the income abatement levels. The second was the inflation adjustment in law. And the third was training support for a student loan to support sole parents on DPB to study full-time level at level 4 and above, and that's really important as well. So this had a whole lot of new obligations on recipients of benefits, and it also had some new supports in place. I commend this bill to the House because I think this bill will actually make a difference to the people of New Zealand. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.